Today, I'm joining Dr. Gupta from a DCM group of school for a very interesting discussion about the cycle of education, in which although you have the student in the center, it's the relationship between the teachers, the educators, the school, and the child, and how the teachers and the school, how their role is to be the catalyst for curiosity and not the people standing on the stage and providing data that, of course, you can find over the internet. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thank you. Hello, Dr. Gupta. How are you? Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Ami. It's a pleasure to join your show.
So the first thing I want to ask you is something that I always ask educators is, how did you become an educator?
So my family has been into this space for almost last 8 decades. Fine. So my grandfather had started, an educational institution in the year 1946. Fine. So though my initial planning was different, I did environmental engineering, then I did my management in international trade and finance. So I wanted to get into manufacturing and real estate. However, the entire responsibility of managing this educational enterprise, it fell on my shoulders. And I initially thought to spend couple of years in education, consolidate the things, streamline the operations, bring a lot of professionalism into the system. However, as the luck would had it, or otherwise, the more I delved deep into it, the more I realized that there was a dire need to work in this space. So it's been almost 27 years now. So I joined this group in 97. So since 97, there has hardly been any day when we have not been thinking about education, when we've not been, I'll say we breathe education, we talk education, we walk education all the time. So it became my passion eventually, and now it's become my mission also.
Which is a perfect segue to the next question. When you say this is your mission, right? How do you envision education? Well, how should education should be like?
So, I mean, over the years, being a student myself, and since our family has been in the space, so what I've realized that, especially in this part of the world, there has been a lot of focus on exams. Fine. So the entire approach, the entire mindset has been the mark centric. All right. However, I realized that, it's not about marks, it's about making a mark. Fine. It's not about the subject knowledge, it's about the skills. Fine. So I am bringing a change in the mindset of the educators, that fine, curriculum is fine, the subjects are fine, English, math, science, it's all fine, but what about skills? So the entire, the change of perception from rote learning, memorization, to a mark centric approach, to a more of, a skill centric approach, working on their problem solving skills, entrepreneurship skills, critical thinking skills. Fine. So the entire focus, we've shifted from mark centric to a more skill centric, and that is how I feel the education has to be. And in order to bring this change, there has to be an effort from all the stakeholders, because in India, parents have also been very, very shy of divergence. They have been looking for a very, very safe passage for the students. And their first priority over the years has been to make a child a doctor or an engineer. Fine. They've not been exploring the emerging careers. Fine. So over and above, the approach has been, just to get a job, that you study in a school or a college, get degree, get qualified, apply for a job, get a job, and that's the end of it. So the purpose of education has been to get a job. Fine. So we are changing the entire narrative, one from, job oriented approach, to an approach where we are providing the jobs. creating an entrepreneurial mindset, from exam centric approach to a more of skill centric approach, from marks to making a mark. So my vision is that the children, they should be independent thinkers, they should believe in themselves, they should be confident, they should be IT savvy, they should be able to leverage the right kind of technology, they should be able to understand that what is the right pathway for them, which career is suitable for them. All right. And they should be very, very open towards learning. Their learning should not discontinue after exams. All right. So
Yeah.
that is the kind of environment I'm wanting to create.
So I cannot agree more with you. I fully support you. By the way, I come from a country, from Israel, that we are actually not grade centric. A lot of people that come to visit here, they say like, take us to your schools, and they are very disappointed because even if you look at the PISA result of Israeli schools, they're very, very low. But on the other end, you're right. We are very, as a general phrase, very problem-solving oriented and innovative and stuff like this. So I fully agree with you. Research shows that you are 100% right as well. But we have a problem with the parents. I'm sure you have parents that understand everything you just said, but they still want their kids to go to school, and they want to make sure they will have A+ on everything and they will learn for the exams, which is a conflict. They understand that this is not the future and it's bad for their kids. But on the other end, they can't stop because that's the only way they know. How do you handle this conflict?
So I think regular and effective communication is the key for that. Fine. So there has to be regular engagement with the parents. Stakeholders meet, we organize. Fine. Coffee evenings where they are given the presentations supported by the entire data. All right. So there is a whole lot of effort, fine, to make the parents understand that if your child want to be a wildlife photographer, or your child wants to be a chef or a pilot, fine, so let's not push the child towards something, like, and make it a prestige issue. All right. So it's very important to sensitize the parents, to make them aware, to make them realize. And all these efforts, still there'll always be a segment of the parent who said, no, no, I just want this thing to be done. So you can't do much about those set of parents, but by and large, I will say 90% of parents, once you give them the right information, you follow up, you organize sessions with them, you make them meet the professionals, you chip in your career counselors. All right, you tell them about the avenues in the various areas, you talk to them about the success stories. So they will agree by and large. But
Mhm.
yes, as you said, there'll always be a section of parent, they'll be quite adamant that, okay, no, no, we want this. Fine. And talking about the Israel, your home country, why Israel is an innovation capital of the world, while it is recognized as a startup nation, from agriculture to healthcare to defense to IT. Fine, this is because of the openness. This is because of that you've been able to break that glass ceiling. All right. And why, the educators, the students, they are at ease. Fine. And there is a lot of focus on research oriented approach, startups. So that reflects in the uh, overall environment and the scenario in your country. Fine. And that is what we're trying to bring back home here.
Mm. It's interesting when I started the Bree Books. The vision of Bree Books was that every child should write books. Writing is an essential skills. I came from the angle of storytelling. I said, like, if you want to start a startup or anything, you need to know how to tell the story. That's the first thing. So we allowed, I think now by now in India, more than 250,000 students published, printed their first book, which is a huge success in like a very short time. But then I saw something that is very interesting, and I saw it especially with my son. The writing the book is the first phase, but then once you publish the book and your book is on Amazon and on Bree Books, many kids are, they have like one copy in their house, grandma, grandpa, mommy, the school library have a copy. Most kids stops there. But then you have the little entrepreneurs, and what my son is one of them, and they understand, oh, every time my book is sold, I'm making money. And so my son literally writes books. He have like a little shop in the street that he actually sells his books. He's 13. He makes more money than his sisters, all the one together. And I saw the same thing in India. I saw that a lot of kids suddenly enjoy the business school of rebooks more than the writing. They are fully oriented. They do like public Zoom readings. They go into bookshops. They go into crossword. They go into the cinemas and they promote their books. And by the time they finish this writing journey, the writing is maybe 30% of what they did, and 70% is actually business skill. It's almost like business school for kids. So you're right. And I think this allness of the entire thing, which you understand that it's telling a story, finishing a project, writing it, packaging it, selling it. This is actually a startup. Your book is a startup. Is what makes it so successful. I want to ask you a question about the teachers. One of the challenges, especially with such a progressive vision that you have, many times it's hard to get teachers into the zone because they are kind of they come to school like they went to school. What is normally the advice you give teachers when they just start working for you?
So I think this is very important aspect of this entire education process. So one thing we tell the teachers to understand is that it's not just about learning. It's about learning, unlearning, and relearning. All right, and learning is a continuous process. Fine. Second, we also have to understand is sometimes we are expecting certain things from the teachers which they have not been trained for. So it's very important to provide them the right skills and the right set of training before start expecting them to do a particular task. Fine. So we have a very well structured training program for the teachers. All right. And when they join, we appoint a buddy teacher. All right. The buddy teacher, acts as a mentor, helps that particular teacher. And because unfortunately, the teachers training program, the some of the courses, which enables them or give them license to become a teacher, they're not being, very well conceived or drafted. Fine. So many of them are coming directly to the school, even without the kind of training they should have been provided. All right. And secondly, it's not just about training, it's about the mindset. All right. So I tell them that teaching is not just a profession, it's a passion. And God tells you, because we all believe that children are the creation of God. God tells you that you take care of my children and I'll take care of yours. Fine. So teaching is an extremely passionate work to do. Fine. It cannot be, kind of a money driven exercise. All right. Because you have the, playing with the future of the children. Fine. So you have a great responsibility at hand. Fine. So their training, their orientation. Fine. Like 15 years back, we ensured that, all the teachers, around 3,000 of them working with us, they are all IT literate. Because, when the pandemic struck, suddenly everybody realized that, yes, like virtual education, online education, making a video, editing a video, uploading a video, conducting lectures on Zoom and other online platforms. So I'm happy to share that we had done all these exercises with the teachers by 2018. We had ensured that every member of our faculty is IT proficient. Fine. So we work on their skills. We also, give them exposure of various workshops on mindfulness, on a certain stress relieving workshops, subject specific workshops, communication skill workshops, managing a community or creating a community within the classroom, how to do that. So there is a whole lot of effort, a very well designed and well structured, on working on the teachers from their, aptitude, their subject knowledge, their skills, and at the end of the day, working on their value systems also, so that, we can take out the best out of them when it comes to, what is happening inside the class.
So in other words, you make sure that the teachers understand that they are leaders. First of all, their role is a leadership in society. because they are building the next generation. So this is nothing to do with education; it's one level above. And then you make sure what they understand when they come to school. They are continuous learners. You say you didn't come here
Absolutely.
to teach only; you came here to also learn, and it's a continuous. And you by doing so, you also ensuring that this concept of continuous learning that lives with the teacher also work with the students, which of course ties to your
And
first.
I mean, nowadays the role of teachers is also changing, though it can never be diluted or diminished, but it is ever evolving. It's changing. From what we used to call as a sage on the stage to a friend by the side. So they have to be more like a facilitators now, because the entire information is with the child at the click of the button. Fine. So you are trying to navigate, you are trying to, create that fire in the belly. You have to be like a catalyst. Fine. The information is there. You just have to guide them, facilitate them, put the right values in them. Fine. So we tell them all these things, and we can see them, really evolving as great leaders, great facilitators, and wonderful teachers. And some of them, they've been with us for almost 4 decades.
Yeah, you're right. If the teacher understand that they are the catalyst, and their role is not anymore to be on the stage and to provide
Yeah.
information, but
Yeah.
to be the catalyst for your curiosity, that the child will find the information that is available to them, you
Yeah.
do achieve the best education possible. I cannot
How
agree
to
more with it.
ignite curiosity, how to give confidence to the child. Fine. So if the child is asking a question in the class, fine, it might be a silly question, but you can't snub the child. Why did you ask? So there are a lot of do's and don'ts, which sometimes, most of the time, they're well aware of. But then, there is a continuous class observation process. The senior faculty members, they observe the classes, they guide them. So this goes on and on.
So my last question is actually now on the students themselves, because the vision of the school is very clear. The execution of the teachers is also very clear, meaning you're trying to be the catalyst that and generates everything. But then you might have children that are coming from a school that says, yeah, we love all those things. We want you to play soccer and to write books and to dance and to learn photography, but the pressure, and I'm saying it as a parent that also does the same thing many times, the pressure will be like, but you should also get A plus in physics. You must get A plus in physics. Then you have the children, and the children sometimes are between. They're between me, the parent, and how do you help the students understand that their parents sometimes might be wrong? That they're not always wrong, but they live in kind of ambient value-based world. How do you help them there?
So, two, three aspects here, Amy. One is to give confidence to the children, fine, to help them take their own decisions, to make them independent thinkers, fine.
Which is very difficult in a traditional environment.
Yes, it is difficult but not impossible. All right. Then there is a personalized learning plan for every child. There might be a child who wants to become a musician. Fine. So this entire, program, this entire PLP plan is structured, and it's a kind of tripartite agreement. It's a parent, teacher, child connect, PTC connect. Fine. Where all the three stakeholders, they sit together and they discuss. Fine. Where the opinion of parents are taken, the opinion of the child is taken, and the teachers they also have their opinion that child will be better in this and that. And then there are psychometric tests and all. So in most of the cases, we all the three stakeholders are able to zero in on that. Okay, fine, these are the further plans. This is where the child is going to get admission, or which course, which college, which university. Fine. So there has to be kind of a channelized system, where I mean we are well aware, and especially this entire program begins from grade 8th and goes up to the grade 12th. Fine. So we are able to help the children to identify their goals, to understand their strengths and weaknesses. We keep the parents in the loop, and taking them into the confidence, we design the entire, further career pathway of the children, and regular engagement with them. Fine. All right. So all these initiatives and all these efforts, they can prevent the children from getting into that kind of an situation where they feel helpless or they feel stressed or burdened. Fine. And that is what a good, conscious, effective education system should do. Because whatever we are doing, the child has to be in the center. Fine. So we ensure that uh, all the aspects, sometimes the both the father and mother, they are doctors. They want the child to be a doctor to take care of the hospital, or the parents are industrialists, they are into manufacturing. So all the aspects are taken into consideration, and a very well planned, well drafted, comprehensive career counseling planning is done, so that nobody gets a shock or gets into any kind of a stress, or suddenly realize that, okay, like if there's a girl, she has never served the water at her home, and you put her as an air hostess. So wherever the passenger will say, okay, bring water, I want tea, so within a week she will realize, this is not my calling, I can't do this. Fine. So we prevent that kind of a situation by putting them into this entire PLP plan, career counseling plan, and this PTC Connect program. So, and we also have a project Aham Sarthi, where there is a special cell created which keeps track of the children for 5 years after they graduate out of the school.
Wow, that's
Fine. to
amazing.
to keep track of their further career prospects, their well-being, so that our relationship with the child does not end the moment the child goes out from the school. So these are few initiatives which we're doing, but nothing is ever complete. There is always a scope of improvement, and our entire academic department is continuously looking into the loopholes, and if there are any anomalies, or any better suggestions or ideas for which open houses are organized from time to time.
Yeah, it's like the continuous education goes for the children, for the teacher, and for the school. I think this is the bottom line.
Absolutely.
Dr.
Absolutely.
Gupta, thank you very much for joining me today. I learned so many things from you. I
Thank
highly
you.
appreciate it,
Thank you, Amit.
and I'm
The
sure we're
pleasure
gonna
was
meet
all mine. Yeah. Hope to see you in India sometime.
for sure in one of the Brebook's national
Yes.
events for sure, and I'll be happy to come to the school. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.